Hi everybody and welcome to a Grimdark Future Battle Report. Plague Disciples versus Alien Hives. Plague Champion Kaligor was defeated long time ago in a battle with Blessed Sisters and Prime Brothers. He fell in an ambush, and it took him a long time to recover. Only with the help of his foul gods he was able to recover and grow even stronger. Now he's back in the Legatos Sector with a huge force of Plague Disciples, and his goal is very clear: complete control of the sector. And there are a lot of enemies, but one force especially has proven to be very difficult to handle. So far, no one has been able to defeat the Alien Hives. But Kaligor is confident that his army is large and powerful enough to put an end to the alien menace. We will soon find out when 1500 points of Alien Hives meet 1500 points of Plague Disciples. Kaligor is a Plague Destroyer Champion with tough 6. He's armed with a great scythe and he has the blessing of Plague that gives him regeneration. He is joined by a Plague Champion also with blessing of Plague. He's armed with dual Plague close combat weapons and he's joined to a unit of 5 Plague Brothers, so they will get the blessing of Plague as well. They are armed with Sergeant Heavy Pistol, Plague Sword, Plague Flail, Reaper Cannon, 2 heavy pistols and 3 close combat weapons. Then we have 2 units of Plague Destroyers. They have ambush, all of them tough 3. One of the units are all armed with storm rifles and plague swords. In the other units, they are armed with a great Plague Flail, storm rifle, plague sprayer, plague sword and 1 close combat weapon. And finally we have a Plague Hauler with Fear 1, Tough 6, armed with Missile Pod, Heavy Fusion Rifle, Demonic Teeth, and Stomp. All the Plague Disciples have a 6+ Putrid save, and one of the Destroyer units will deploy in ambush. The Alien Hives are led by a Snatcher Lord. He is fast, he is Caster 2, Scout, Strider, and Tough 3, armed with Heavy Claws. He's joined by a unit of 10 Assault Grunts. They are armed with Razor Claws and they have Heavy Bite and Adrenaline. Then we have a unit of Soul Snatchers. They are also fast and have Scout and they are armed with Heavy Claws. We also have a group of Hive Warriors. They are fearless. They are armed with 2 Ravager guns and 1 heavy Ravager gun and 3 slashing blades. Then we have a Shadow Hunter with ambush, fast, Fear 1, stealth, Strider, tough 6, armed with piercing spikes. And finally the dreaded Borrower with Fear 3, fearless, and surprise attack, and tough 18. And if that's not enough, regeneration as well, armed with 4 heavy Razor Claws and Stomp. The Borrower will also deploy in ambush, so it will not participate in the first round. We'll see when it shows up. The 2 armies have deployed in opposing forces deployment style, and the mission is capture and hold. There are 3 skull objectives on the battlefield. If a unit seizes a marker, it will be carried by the unit until it's shaken or destroyed, and at the end of each round, the forces will get 1 victory point for each objective marker they have seized. There will be 1 bonus victory point at the end of the game if one army has seized more objectives than the opponent. And with all that out of the way, let's roll some dice for roll-off. The Plague Disciples will roll the green Plague dice, and the Alien Hives will roll the orange-red dice. And this is a victory for the Plague Disciples. They will activate first. And just before the first round, a unit of Soul Snatchers will use their Scout ability to move. And they will move here in cover behind the crate. Let the battle begin. Round number 1. The Plague Champion and his unit of Plague Brothers will activate first. They will advance forward here behind the crate, and the only weapon in range to shoot the Assault Grunts here is the Reaper Cannon. 4 shots. They will hit on a 3. So there will be 3 hits. And the Reaper Cannon is AP1. And that will take 6 up saves, and there will be no saves. So 3 Assault Grunts will bite the dust here in the very first activation. The Hive Warriors are too far away to shoot. They will have to get closer. So they will move here behind the building. The first unit of Plague Destroyers will rush towards the objective here on the upper part of the battlefield, and they will of course seize it, so they can move with it next round. Well, that is unless someone interrupts them. The Assault Grunts, the 7 surviving Assault Grunts, will immediately charge, and they will roll 14 attacks. They hit on 5s, but here we have 2 6s, and they are furious. So instead of 2, that will count as 4. Now the 7 remaining attacks, and also a couple of furious hits here. All in all, the Destroyers will have to defend 9 hits. It's AP nothing. They will defend with 3s. And they will not make all of them. In the end here, there will be 4 hits, but they can still rely on their Putrid save. So the 4 hits, if they roll 6s, will be ignored. And there is not one single roll of 6, that's 4 wounds. That takes down a Destroyer and gives another one a wound. And of course, that is really, really bad. But the 2 remaining Destroyers can fight back. 2 attacks with Great Plague Flail that has Poison and Blast, and 1 with a close combat weapon. And the close combat weapon will hit, and 1 hit with the Great Plague Flail. So that means 3 defense rolls because it has Blast. The Assault Grunt needs 6s, and there is 1 6, but it has to be rerolled because of Poison, but the save will be made anyway. But the remaining save will fail. That's 3 hits and 3 more Assault Grunts down, but they will win the battle. Let's see if the Plague Destroyers can. No, they failed their morale test. Very unexpected. Even with a quality of 3, they will fail. They are not down to half strength, so they will be shaken, but they will drop the objective, and it's now controlled by the Assault Grunts. The Plague Hauler moves forward and targets the Hive Warriors. It has a missile pod and 1 shot with heavy fusion rifle, and it takes a roll of 3 to hit, each of them with 1 shot. Oh, and no hits with the missile pod, that's bad. And the heavy fusion rifle, that's a hit. Both weapons are deadly. It takes a roll of 6 for the Hive Warriors to defend, and that fails. So that's a deadly hit. That will take 3 wounds away and eliminate 1 of the Hive Warriors. The Soul Snatchers are too far away to charge. Instead, they will rush towards this objective, and they will take control of it. The Alien Hives are fast, and they target the objectives, and that forces Kaligor out of his cover. He will target the central building here with the objective inside. Compared to Kaligor, the Snatcher Lord is rather weak, but he has his psychic powers. And with 2 caster tokens, he will spend 2 of them here with an Animate Flora spell. He will target 2 units, the Hive Warriors and the Shadow Hunter, and if he rolls a 4, they can fly next time they move, and that's exactly what happens. The Hive Warriors have moved this round, but the Shadow Hunter here will immediately activate and fly into the building and land close to the objective, and he takes control of it. That was the last activation of the first round. Remember, both forces have a unit in ambush reserve. And what a round that was for the Alien Hives. They targeted the objectives relentlessly and went for them. That gives a score after the first round of 0-3 victory points to the Alien Hives. But now it's time for surprises. The Plague Destroyers will show up here behind the Alien Hives, but even worse, the Burrower will come up right next to the unit of Plague Marines, and it has a surprise attack. It can deploy 1 inch from enemy units, and then it will roll 3 dice, and for each 2+, the unit will take 2 hits with AP1. That takes a defense roll of 4, so 2 of them will be defended, but still 2 hits. Now this unit has regeneration, so there is a chance to regenerate. No, and finally, the 6+ Putrid save, and that one also fails. That means 2 Plague Brothers will be killed by the surprise attack. Let's go to round number 2. Round 2 will begin with the Plague Destroyers that just showed up in ambush. They will advance, take position here behind the crates, and then fire their 3 storm rifles at the 2 remaining Hive warriors. They hit on 3s. And there are a lot of hits here. 7 hits, and with AP 1, the Hive warriors must try to block these attacks with rolls of 5. Only 1 saved. That's 6 wounds, exactly enough to eliminate the 2 Hive warriors. The entire unit is destroyed. That ambush was really deadly, but now the Burrower will also attack, with no less than 12 heavy razor claws and 6 stomp attacks. All the attacks will hit on 4. The orange dice here are the razor claws, they are AP 1, and there are a lot of hits. And the black dice will be the stomp attacks with AP 2. So 5s are needed to block the stomps, and there are no saves here. And then they will have to roll 4s to block the heavy razor claws. That looks really, really bad. Only a couple of saves all in all. That will leave 13 hits. More than enough to eliminate the entire unit. But they have regeneration. And that's not bad. Several regeneration rolls will cut the amount of hits down to a final, let's see, we still need 1 dice roll here. That will cut the hits down to 6. Still not enough, but they also have the Putrid save. So let's see if they can come up with a couple of 6s here. That could save the unit. There are 2 rolls of 6. So 4 hits. Of course, that's also bad, but it could have been far worse. But the Burrow will more or less eliminate the entire unit, but leave the champion. With 1 wound, the Plague Champion has survived and he can fight back. He will not hit a lot here, only 1 hit. And the Burrower will fail the defense roll. It has a defense of 2, so 1 wound, but it will of course win the battle. It has fear 3. The champion will not avoid a morale check. He has a quality of 3 and he's good. So his unit has been destroyed, but he stands in the way of the Burrower. Now it's time to act for Kaligor. He could go for the Burrower, but there are objectives in the battle, so he will instead target the flying Shadow Hunter. And he has a great scythe, and it's deadly. He will hit with both his attacks. It's AP 4, and the Shadow Hunter will not defend any of them. With deadly, that's 6 wounds, and he will, with not 1 but 2 swings of his great weapon, kill the Shadow Hunter. He will also claim the objective. Kaligor is definitely back. The stubborn Assault Grunts are not finished with the Destroyers yet. There are only 4 left, but they have 8 attacks. This time they will hit with only 1. They should be able to handle that with a defense of 3, but no. A roll of 2 will give another wound to one of the Destroyers. They really are annoying, these bugs. But they can of course fight back. Only rolls of 6 will count. And they will not hit anything. That means they will lose the battle again. But they will pass the morale test this time. The Plague Hauler will target the Burrower now, with only 2 shots, but they are deadly. And rolls of 3 are the target. And again, it will fail one of the shots. This time the missile will hit. It will take a roll of 6. And the borrower will not defend, so it will take 3 wounds. But it can regenerate and will regenerate none of the wounds. The bio recovery failed. Now it's the Soul Snatchers, and they will move and carry the objective. They can attack the Plague Hauler, but they could also target Kaligor, and that's what happens. 10 attacks, and they hit on 3s. And they hit with 8 of their attacks. They are AP 1. Kaligor has a defense of 3. If he fails all these attacks, they will kill him. He will save a few of them. There will be 5 left. And he cannot use his regeneration because the hits are rending. But he has his Putrid save. 5 attempts and no good. No Putrid saves. He will have only 1 wound left. He's very exposed. He can fight back. He is fatigued and he will not hit any of the Soul Snatchers. He will stay in control of the objective though. That is if he makes his morale check. He lost the battle clearly, so he will have to pass, and he barely makes it with a roll of 3. So he will control the objective. But with 5 wounds and only 1 left, he's really exposed. It's beginning to look messy on the battlefield. The Plague Champion has already fought a borrower. He is fatigued, but he will attack the Assault Grunts and hope to hit at least once, even though he's fatigued. And he will hit with 1 of his attacks. He could hope to win the battle and that way make the Assault Grunts disappear. And the defense roll fails. Now the Grunts will attack back. They have 6 attacks, but they are, of course, also fatigued. They have already fought the Destroyers. So 1 hit back, and if he can defend that, he will win the battle. And he's good. Now let's see the fate of the Assault Grunts. If they are shaken or worse, and they will fail their morale test. They are below half strength and have lost the battle. They will leave the battlefield and also the objective. And the Plague Champion will consolidate and claim the objective on his own. The Borrower and the Soul Snatchers are really doing well, but the Snatcher Lord is a bit alone here in his corner of the battlefield. He will advance, and from this position he will use his caster tokens. He will spend 1 on Psychic Blast, and then another 1 to increase his chance. If he can roll a 3, he will send his Psychic Blast against the Destroyers, and he will hit. So they will take 1 AP2 hit with Deadly 3. But they will block. That would have cost 1 Destroyer with a hit. Now they are still at full strength. And finally the second unit of Destroyers will move their shaken and they are back. The Plague Disciples control 2 objectives and the Soul Snatchers hold on to 1. That gives a 2-4 victory point lead to the Alien Hives. Round 3. The aliens activate first this time, and there really is a choice to make. The Borrower could attack first, but the Soul Snatchers could most likely eliminate Kaligor. That will leave the Snatcher Lord alone and exposed to retaliation. But what will they do? They will take the chance to eliminate the enemy leader. The Soul Snatchers will once again charge Kaligor. 10 attacks. And a little less hits than last time, but still way more than Kaligor can handle if he's not really effective with his defense. So first a rending hit. He will not defend that one. Next up 3 regular hits, and he will defend 2. So he takes 2 wounds. He cannot regenerate them, only his Putrid save He needs a couple of 6s and he gets Snake Eyes instead. That was short. Kaligor is once again eliminated, not at the hands of a proud prime brother, but filthy aliens. But it's not over yet. The Plague Hauler could attack and hit the Burrower, and this time both powerful shots will hit. So it takes one save of 4, and the Burrower will not make that one, and then a save of 6. That is 2 deadly hits, potentially 6 wounds. But the bio-recovery and regeneration might reduce that. And there are 3 regenerated hits. So that's 3 more wounds. A total of 7. That's not even half strength yet. The Snatcher Lord is up next. He will begin with another attempt at Psychic Blast at the Destroyers. So again, he will use 1 token to cast the spell and 1 to increase the chance. And he fails this time, so no magic. And then he will attack. He will charge against the Plague Champion, the Plague Champion that right now controls the objective. And the Snatcher Lord has 4 attacks with his claws, and 3 of them will hit. They are AP1 and rending. And the champion will fail the rending hit. He will need force to block the others. He defends 1, but that leaves 2 hits, and he cannot regenerate because of rending. He will need his Putrid save, and no, none of them are effective. He'll take 2 more wounds, and he will bite the dust. The Snatcher Lord will snatch the objective. The Plague Destroyers could most likely easily eliminate the Snatcher Lord, but they have to focus fire on the Burrower. So they will fire all their 9 Storm Rifle shots. They are AP1 only, but they hope to bring down the monster to at least half strength. 5 shots will hit. I wonder how they can even miss that huge monster, but, well, 5 will hit, and defense rolls of 3 are needed with a tough armor, only 2 wounds, and with regeneration that leaves only 1 wound. Nowhere near enough to shake the monster. Nice try, but the monster is still loose, and the target is the Plague Hauler. And again, there will be many attacks. 12 with heavy razor claws with AP1 and 6 stomp attacks with AP2. The Plague Hauler has tough 6, and it looks not as bad as the last time. So 4 hits to begin with, then the stomp attack. 3 additional hits. Enough to destroy the Plague Hauler, but of course there will be defense rolls. And the Plague Hauler has a capable defense of 2. First the claw attacks, and 2 of them will be blocked. And then the stomp attacks. Unfortunately, no saves at all. So that's 5 wounds. But there is a chance to regenerate. On a 5 or 6. And there is 1 regenerated wound, still leaving 4. And then we have the 6+ Putrid save. And there will be 1 roll of 6. In the end, that's 3 wounds. And that takes the Plague Hauler down to half strength. But let's fight back first with Demonic Teeth and Stomp attack. Not the best attack roll. Both attacks are AP1 and the Burrower will defend them all. So of course it will win the battle. And with the Plague Hauler at half strength, it's necessary to pass the morale test. And yes, the Plague Hauler survived and is still on the battlefield. The second unit of destroyers move forward close enough to contest the objective. But they have a completely different target, the Soul Snatchers. Only 1 weapon can fire, but that is the reliable and poisonous Plague Sprayer with Blast. So, with a hit, it will blast 3 of the Soul Snatchers, and 2 of them will not defend. So 2 Soul Snatchers will be killed, not enough to force the unit to make a morale test, and that was the goal of the Destroyers, to eliminate the entire unit with failing morale. But they are still around, and that concludes the 3rd round. With the Soul Snatchers still holding on to 2 objectives and the 3rd objective contested by both, it's 2-6 victory points. Round 4. The Plague Disciples' only chance is to capture all objectives. Then they will score 3 and have more than their opponents, and that will even the score. But they don't activate first. The Alien Hives will begin. And they could run away with the objectives, but the Soul Snatchers will not be able to get out of reach or out of line of sight. And that's a risk. The Snatcher Lord could also try to do some damage, but in the end, the most dangerous weapon they have is the Burrower. And it will directly target the most dangerous enemy unit on the battlefield at the moment, the unit of Destroyers, with Storm Rifles and Plague Swords. So again, several attacks, and it will again hit with a lot of them. 8 hits. The Destroyers will begin with the Stomp attacks. And not a single one saved. And then the Claws. Come on. A few saves this time. But there will be 5 potential wounds. The Destroyers have their Putrid save. They really need to recover a few of the wounds here, but there is only 1. So 4 wounds that will eliminate 1 Destroyer and give a wound to another one. But at least the unit is alive and not down to half strength. Now they can hit back with their Plague Swords. They are poisonous, and they will hit with 3. That gives 4 hits. With AP 1, the Burrower will defend with 3s, but it cannot use the regeneration because of the poison. So there will be 2 hits. That will take it up to 10 wounds. But with Fear 3, it will still win the battle and force the Destroyers to a morale test. They have a quality of 3. Let's see if they can make it. And they make it. And now is the chance. The Plague Hauler will make a daring move. It will move close enough to contest the objectives of the Soul Snatchers and then fire the missile pod at the Snatcher Lord with lock-on and the heavy fusion rifle at the Burrower. And if it can hit and wound them both, the weapons are deadly. Potentially, it could eliminate the Snatcher Lord and wound the Burrower enough to force it into a morale test. 2 shots, hitting on 3s and failing both. Miserably. I'm not saying it was easy, but that was just pathetic. And that was the one and only chance to do a difference. Now, the Plague Disciples can see the Soul Snatchers run away. They are fast. They rush 16 inches away out of line of sight with 2 objectives, and that will secure the victory to the Alien Hives once again. Kaligor has fallen in his great comeback, and it's all over for the Plague Disciples in this battle and maybe in all of the Legatos Sector. The remaining Plague forces will withdraw, and they will, along with all other forces in the Legatos Sector, wonder who can stop the Alien Hives. They keep spreading, defeating everything in their way. In the chaotic and unstable Legatos Sector, the alien threat now stands above all. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you'll join me for future bad reps.